Do you know how much churn is costing your agency every year? In this video, I'll show you how much money you're losing to churn and why, if you're trying to scale, it's a number that you should really care about. I'm going to show you how to actually calculate your churn rate. We'll go over the difference between a 20% and a 10% churn rate. And then I'm going to show you 5 hidden costs to churn that nobody else talks about. So first things first, if you clicked on this video, then I assume you know what churn is. But just in case you do not know, churn is just a fancy number that shows you how many of your clients are leaving your agency every single month. This is important because it impacts your LTV and that impacts how much you actually get paid. Now, I literally have a 5-minute video that will show you how you can calculate the churn rate in your agency. I'm going to link at the end of this video so you can calculate it. But for now, the easiest way to calculate churn is just to divide the number of clients that left during the period divided by the number of clients at the start of the period, and then times by 100 to get a percentage. So for example, if you have 1,000 people that join your agency and after 30 days, 200 of those people leave, then your churn rate is 20%, 200 divided by 1,000. So that's the boring bit of the video done. Now you know what your churn rate is. Now we need to go over how this actually impacts your agency, why this is the number that you need to track on a consistent basis if you're actually trying to scale. And in order to actually show you the impact of this, all I'm going to do is run you through 2 different examples. One example of an agency that has a 20% churn, and then one example of an agency has a 10% churn. All this is a 50% decrease in churn, which is more than attainable. And I'm going to show you the difference it actually makes over a long period of time. So first things first, let's start with a 20% example. In this example over here, nothing changes. You're charging 2.5K for some sort of marketing services and you manage to get up to 40 active clients. With a 20% churn rate, it means you're losing 20% of your client base every month. That's literally what a 20% monthly churn rate actually means. How do you actually understand this? How do you quantify this? You're losing 8 out of your 40 clients every single month. Let that take in, guys. 8 actual businesses that you signed up for, they had to close, they had to pay sales commissions for, are leaving your agency every single month. And what does that actually mean? It means you're losing 20K a month if you charge 2.5K a month. 20K a month in monthly recurring revenue that you've already paid for, you've already paid the acquisition cost for, and you've already started to service are leaving your agency every single month if you have a 20% churn. But it's not just that, because it's not just the money that you're missing out in terms of your monthly recurring revenue. You also need to replace those 8 customers that are leaving. So let's say your CAC is 2K, which again is very, very generous. You're going to have to spend 16,000 every single month just to recuperate those 8 clients that you lost because of a 20% churn. That's insane, guys. So you're not just losing 20K from your MRR. You also need to spend another 16K to acquire 8 more clients, pay the closers commission, whatever else it may be, pay the ad spend, the outreach, I don't know, however else you get clients, just to stay the same. This is what a 20% churn actually looks like. And if you stick with me, I'm actually going to show you how this compounds over time because this actually makes a massive difference, guys. Now let's go through the exact same example, but rather than a 20% churn, we're going to have a 10% churn. And the reason I've chosen these 2 specific numbers is because all we're doing here is having a 50% reduction in our churn, which is more than attainable, guys. Especially if you're starting off with 20%, because 10% is not the best place to be at. Ideally, you want to be below that. Sub 8 is a really, really good place to be. Let's go through the exact same sample with a 10% churn. Everything stays the same. We start off at 40 active clients, and you're charging these 40 active clients 2.5K every single month. With a 10% churn, you're losing 10% of your client base every single month. Let's actually quantify this. What does this actually mean? This means you're losing 4 clients every single month. So 4 clients that you're paid to acquire, 4 clients that you started servicing or leaving your agency every single month. And what does it actually look like in numbers? If you charge 2.5K, that means you're losing 10K a month in monthly recurring revenue that you've already acquired. Now, this is an improvement of before, but it's important to understand that it's not just a 10K that you're actually losing because you actually need to replace these 4 clients that are coming in. So let's say you have a CAC of 2K. That means you're going to have to spend 8K just to stay the same, to actually replace those 4 clients that are leaving your agency every single month. So in total, let's say you're down the hole of 18K. Now, this is not great, but it's a lot better than the previous 20% churn example because with a 10% churn rate, you're down 18K. 10K that you're losing in monthly current revenue and 8K you have to spend to actually replace those customers. However, with a 20% churn, you're down a lot more than that. You're losing 20K a month in monthly current revenue and you need to spend another 16K just to replace those clients. So in total, you're red for about 36K. And that's the difference. You're saving your agency 18 grand. That is no small feat, guys. And the whole reason I'm making this video is because I want to emphasize that this is something that's going to compound over time. This Google Sheet will show you the impact of churn on a long-term basis. And let me move myself out of the way here so you can actually see this. In this case, we're going to start with the exact same inputs. Well, let's say we're signing on 8 clients every single month. We're going to start off with 40 clients. Our churn rate to start off with is going to be 20%. We're going to have a capacity of 60, but whatever, we can always change it off. That doesn't really matter to you now. We're charging 2.5K. Our profit is 30%. Our kind of lifetime is 5 months. And our LTV is 12.5K. Now, if right now we are getting 8 clients every single month, because we have an 8% churn rate, we are not growing. We just stay stagnant, stuck at 100K a month with a 30K profit margins, which is not great. However, let's look at what life looks like if we improve our churn rate by 50%, which is very, very attainable, guys. This is the difference over here. And this is what I was talking about. This compounds over time. So with the previous 20% churn rate, if we're bringing on 8 clients every single month, in the space of 2 years, we do not grow. We stay exactly the same. Now, if we decrease our churn rate to 10%, it's just a 50% improvement. By month 24, we would have grown by an extra 50K. And at this point, we're capped by our capacity. Churn and people leaving is no longer the constraint, guys. In the same exact agency, you're spending the same exact money on ads, you're spending the same exact money on actually servicing your clients with the same profit margins. You'll increase your monthly recurring profit by 50%. That's an extra 15K in your pocket every single month. And over the space of a year, this adds up, as you can see here. And this is why agencies are able to continue scaling after hitting those 100K months, whereas others just get stuck, may hit it once and then start going back down to the 50, 60K ranges. And it's all to do with the back-end product that you actually offer your clients, guys. Because at the end of the day, you know how to get clients. That's not the issue here. The issue is making sure that those clients that you bring on and you're actually spending money to acquire, that you're spending your closers fee on, are actually able to stay. So you can increase your OTV and make more from every single client, guys. And this does make a massive difference, because this is the difference between 7-figure agencies and agencies that stay stagnant and after a year have to shut down because they cannot keep running. Imagine doing all that work and not growing, stay at that exact same point every single month. If you're not growing, guys, you're dying. And one of the key factors as you continue scaling that we keep on seeing time and time again with these agencies that come to us for help are that they are able to get clients. They know how to bring people through the door. The issue is that they can't get people to stay. And that's what slowly kills the business over time. And let's say for whatever reason that your capacity does increase and you're able to increase your capacity by, let's say, 100%, whatever numbers don't really matter, you'll be able to see that you're no longer capped by your capacity. And this is the thing I'm trying to emphasize, that in the business, you need to focus on the actual constraint. And in this case, for most agencies, at least we talk to, if you're able to get clients on a consistent basis, then your constraint is not ads, it's not acquisition, it's actually keeping those clients. And if you don't solve that constraint, you're going to keep growing for no reason. You saw the previous example with a 20% churn rate. If you have 40 clients and you have a CAC of 2K, you need to spend 16K every single month to stay in the exact same position, just to replace the clients that are leaving your agency, guys. That is 16K coming out of your pocket every single month, not to grow. And that's a big difference to actually focusing on your churn rate will actually have. The reason I'm making this because I know the impact that this has on agencies, because churn is all we do. All we do is we come into an agency and we give you all the tools and your team the tools to actually decrease the churn rate. And we've seen the impact it actually has in 7-figure agencies at a very, very high level. The difference is night and day. And if you watch any of Alex Mosey's content, latest content, and any sort of mention of agencies, they're going to say first, okay, cool, what's your churn rate? And if you don't fix your churn rate, then you're going to have to fix it, because you're just pouring water into a leaky bucket. And that never works out. You'll never end up growing that way, at least not on a sustainable basis. You will be able to grow in the first year, maybe in the second year where you're spending a ton of money on ads. But then after a while, you're going to realize that this is not sustainable. You can't just keep spending money on ads without having any sort of return, especially on a longer term basis. So guys, that's my mini rant regarding churn. Now let's go over the hidden costs of churn. And then this is going to be it for the video. This is a super, super short video, but it was top of mind because I keep on hopping on calls with these guys that just don't understand the impact even a 50% drop in churn can actually make in an agency. So this is kind of my selfish way of putting together some nurture videos for my audience and also giving you guys a ton of different value. So let's go over the hidden cost of churn. The first hidden cost of churn that I don't see anyone really talking about is that churn is going to affect your word of mouth. And this is a very, very, very tough battle to fight across. You can't really outspend this, guys. If you keep on growing and keep on serving clients, but then all those different clients end up leaving, you're going to build up a bad word of mouth in your industry. Let's say you do solo marketing, wherever else it may be. Solo companies talk. And if you manage to continue scaling like crazy, you keep on spending money on ads, your word of mouth of you being a bad company, not being able to deliver, is going to spread across. And then you're going to see your ROAS is going to keep constantly be decreasing, decreasing, and decreasing. Your ad metric is going to get worse and worse and worse over time. You're going to think, what's going on? I updated new creatives. But word of mouth is a very, very tough battle to find. And if you don't fix your churn rate, this is one of the major hidden costs, because like people in different niches speak. Plumbers speak with plumbers, painters speak with painters, real estate agents speak with different real estate agents. And if you continue growing and continue giving your clients horrible experiences, then eventually you're going to have a bad word of mouth in the industry, which is going to be a very, very expensive to actually fight against. So this is the first major hidden cost of churn. You see a Reddit post about your business and how bad the results is, which believe it or not, some of our clients actually have, because that's what happens when you bring on so many different people into a bad product. They will complain about it. And if you give them a bad experience, they're going to spread that bad experience to the different people in the area. So that's the first hidden cost of churn. The second hidden cost of churn is that you're going to have a bad service delivery. Now, this is pretty straightforward, but this is more so for your personal thing. When you started your agency, obviously you made it to make money, but I'm sure you didn't want to actually negatively impact people. If you have a bad churn, that means you won't be able to actually keep people on a long-term basis, which is where marketing does its best job. Don't get me wrong, you can obviously come into an agency in 1 month, 2 months, and give them some sort of results, but you know better than I do. If you stick with an agency or with a company for a year, 2 years plus, and you actually are able to get them results on a consistent basis, you know them so much better, and the results you're going to be able to get them on a longer term basis are going to be a lot more sustainable and a lot better. So when you actually have a high churn rate, it means people are not staying month after month, which basically removes the opportunity to actually give these clients good results, which in turn obviously is going to ruin your service delivery. Another hidden cost of churn, which is very, very related to this, is that as you continue growing, guys, if you have a low churn rate, it means you can invest less money for each client because your LTV will be lower. This basically means you can't invest as much money in each individual client to actually get them better results and actually give them a better provider. For example, you're stuck with these VAs that have very, very low experience rather than hire an actual in-house consultant that has a ton of experience, can actually appear on camera, so different things like that. Like, so bad service delivery is another hidden indicator of churn. And to be honest, when I work with any sort of service provider, in my case, obviously, I'm very adamant on churn, but I always ask them, hey, what's your churn rate? Because that gives me an idea of how much money they actually invest in giving me the best possible experience. Rather than someone staying for 5 months, they stay for 10 months, just from a 10% reduction, guys. I mean, it's insane. And those extra 5 months, you can spend so much more money and actually give them better experience and actually stay for even longer. So that's the second hidden cost of churn. The third hidden cost of churn is team churn. So churn is not just employees, guys, believe it or not. As you continue growing, team churn is going to be something that you're going to be impacted by. And client churn is something that impacts us, believe it or not. And this makes a lot of sense, guys. If you're constantly losing your clients on a regular basis, your team is going to be constantly dealing with complaints, constantly dealing with people that are not happy, constantly dealing with people that hate their souls and want to get their money back, which is not a good impact on them. Over a long term basis, your team is not going to enjoy their job because that's not what they signed up for. Don't get me wrong, the money is good, but on a consistent basis, people want to be fulfilled. And if the whole time they're working, they're always arguing with customers, they get negative feedback, people are telling them they're not good enough, that's going to impact over a longer period of time. And eventually, people are going to end up leaving because they don't actually enjoy their job. This is one of the secret costs of churn that I don't see anyone else talking about. But if you don't fix the churn rate in your agency to actually give your clients a better experience, the clients are not going to be the only ones that are leaving you. Your key team members are going to leave you as well. And then from that, you need to spend more money on actually recruiting. You need to spend more money on actually training your staff. And if none of your team members are sticking with you, then it's going to have such a negative impact in your agency, guys. At the end of the day, guys, agency is just a recruitment business and you need to be able to attract high level talent. And if you get to the point where you're actually attracting these high level key players and A players in your agency, they're going to be asking different things like, hey, what's your churn rate? And even if you manage to bring them in after a while and they keep on getting demotivated by your clients and seeing that you can't actually deliver for your clients, they're not going to stick with you because you need to sell people the dream. And the dream isn't an agency where everyone's just leaving you every single month and complaining about results. So that's another hidden cost of churn. The fourth hidden cost of churn is lower conversions. And this also applies to sales, but also to any upsells that you have on the back end. Conviction is one of the most important things when it comes to sales. And this is coming from me, someone that doesn't know anything about sales. But I can tell you right now, when I gained conviction about our product and I actually understood the impact that it has, not just in our agency's lives, but also in our clients' lives, it gave me so much conviction about what we do. And when I was hopping on these different calls with agency owners, that conviction came across and my close rate skyrocketed. And it's the exact same thing for your sales team, guys. This is why it's so important to constantly go over testimonials with your sales team so they have conviction that the product actually works. But that will be impossible if you have a high churn rate because all they're going to see is these negative reviews on Trustpilot, these negative Reddit forums going over how bad your business is, bad messages from clients that they sold to saying, hey, you ruined my life. I wasted 6K over or so it is. So this is a negative impact of churn because If clients keep on leaving, your sales team are going to find out one way or another, and that's going to lower their conviction in the actual product, which is going to lower their close rate, which in turn is going to make you less money. So this is a hidden cost of turn I don't see a lot of people talking about. But if you don't go ahead and actually fix this in your agency, then you're not going to be able to get as much out of your sales guys. And these guys are probably going to leave as well if they see that you have a product that you can't deliver on. Because at the end of the day, they're selling people. They need to have the full trust and authority they can actually fulfill on the people that they're selling, or else you're going to get a bunch of chargebacks, which obviously is not great. And last but not least, guys, the last hidden cost for churn is enterprise value. If you have a high churn rate, your enterprise value is going to be so much lower than it could be, even if you improved it by a little bit, guys. When these companies or when these enterprises come in and look at these different agencies, they will look at your churn rate. So you're telling me you bring a client on for 5K or for 2K and you only get 10K out of them, that's not enough for us. They care about EBITDA, they care about profit, they care about team churn, they care about employee churn. And if you have a high churn rate, your agency by default is going to be valued less. So even if you're not thinking about the short term and all the different short term hidden costs that we just talked about here, and also the money you're actually losing, like from the examples I actually showed you, care about the future long term of your agency. Because if you do have plans of actually selling this one day or another, this churn rate, this magical number, is going to affect the enterprise value that your agency actually has. And when buyers actually come to your agency, they're going to be asking these questions. And if you can't answer as to why your churn rate is so high, first things first, they probably won't be interested in a churn and burn business because they know that there's no sustainable value to it. And secondly, even if they do give you any sort of offer, it's going to be so much lower than what you could have gotten if you just spent a year trying to get churn right. I'm not talking about anything crazy. I'm talking about going from a 20% churn rate to a 10% churn rate, which is more than doable. One of our clients, Sebastian, went from a 33% churn rate to a sub 10% churn rate in just 2 months actually using our system. So this is more than doable, guys. And I'm not saying that you need to invest in our system. All I'm saying is track your churn on a regular basis. And then from there, you're going to be able to have that motivation to actually try to improve it by giving your clients a better experience. Because at the end of the day, I know that you feel some sort of void in your soul every single time a client comes on your agency and you don't know if you can actually deliver them results. Probably when you started your agency, this was super easy to do because it was just you, an account manager, maybe a media buyer, and you were able to have a very, very close relationship with clients and make sure they got good results. But as you continue scaling, you brought in more CSMs, then that client experience that you gave your clients, that one-on-one personal experience disappeared immediately. And from there, it makes sense why people start leaving your agency, guys. So if you actually care about results, and obviously I'm dramatizing this a bit more than it should be, but I genuinely mean this. I feel like we talked to a lot of different agency owners, and I can sense that some of these guys have genuine guilt that they are bringing people on, but I can't actually service them on a regular basis. And even if you don't have any sort of subconscious, this is not an emotional thing. It's just the money, guys. If you can't deliver clients good results on a consistent basis, they're going to leave you. At both of these, you're losing money, but with a higher churn rate, you're losing more money. And again, you just spend more just to maintain the same, which if you want to grow, it's going to make your life so much harder for no reason. So my key call to action to this video, improve your churn rate. Don't stop learning here. I have so many different videos on my channel going over how to decrease the churn rate in your agency using systems, because this is not guesswork. It's not just some fallacy that you can come up with. There are actual systems that you can implement in your agency to decrease your churn rate at scale so you continue bringing on more clients without ruining your client experience or stress on your team. So if any of us are interesting, I'm going to leave a couple different videos here. You can check out, continue learning, and see how we implement system in seven-figure agencies to actually decrease your churn rate by giving your team all the tools they need to actually give your clients that best possible experience at scale, which, as you know, becomes harder and harder. Also, if you want us to jump into your agency and help you predict and prevent churn using our proven system, it's our done for you offer. We do it in 14 days. And from that, the system is 100% yours. Check one of the links in the description and find out a bit more about how we help seven-figure agencies decrease churn. Apart from that, guys, that's been it from me today. I really encourage you, do not stop learning here. Check out some of the systems that we built for agencies. All of our value is free on YouTube. This is not where we make our money. This is just nurture for my clients. And the whole reason I made this video is because I got sick of people not understanding the impact of churn and how it actually impacts the agency over both the long term and the short term in terms of the money you're losing every single month. And this is going to be basically a piece of nurture that I'm going to add in probably my pre-call nurture sequence or some of the pre-booking nurture sequences to actually get people to book a call and take some action. So if that's you, go ahead and book a call. And if you're just on YouTube running a random video and you came across this, then check out the rest of our content because we have so much value going out there, going over how you can decrease the churn rate in your agency. All right, guys, catch you after. Bye-bye.